Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons, and we're going to talk about Critical Role, and we're going to talk about Call of the Netherdeep, the newest Dungeons & Dragons book. And today we're specifically going to talk about the big bad in this book. So spoilers, major spoilers for Call of the Netherdeep. All right, today we're going to talk about Alexian, who is the major challenge in Dungeons & Dragons Critical Role, Call of the Netherdeep. Created by Matthew Mercer. This thing is one of the best. It's quickly growing. Honestly, I'm going to say it. I think it's better than Curse of Strahd. In fact, I have to say, I have some issues with this book. I think, honestly, I have issues with every Dungeons & Dragons book. Some more than others, right? But I have some significant issues with this book, but it has just captured me. I cannot put this book down. I keep reading it. And it's taken forever to read it because I just take so many notes. But let's get into the big bad here. So the big bad is Alexian. All right, so let's talk about Exandria. So Exandria is Critical Role's world, right? It's actually a Dungeons & Dragons world, and it's a Critical Role world, quite literally, right? And specifically, Exandria was created by Matthew Mercer, right? So then you have Wildmount, and then you have Marquette, okay? And then you have Ank'Haral, which is a major city in Marquette, okay? And in that major city, underneath, in Marquette, this continent, in Ank'Haral, the city, is specifically there is a hidden monster under the city that is lurking in this deep. The Netherdeep is essentially a flooded dungeon. It's a dungeon that's flooded, and specifically Alexian is this creature that is in this flooded abyss. Okay, now who is Alexian? Well, now this creature at the bottom of the abyss is actually what happened to Alexian, who is a century-old's favored of the god champion, all right? So Exandria has prime deities, that's its main god, good gods, and it has the betrayer gods, okay? So 3 of the prime deities of Exandria blessed this fighting champion named Alexian, and they all gave him power, okay? So Alexian is doing his thing, and he's like think of like Hercules, right? Well, maybe that's not correct. He's blessed by these 3 prime deities, okay? So then, but things go wrong, and he is savagely defeated, right? And all the power he's given, he becomes scarred, and he's defeated, right? Over centuries, the power he's given in him is corrupted by his own rage and his own bitterness over his defeat, and he becomes this horrible monster. Okay, and he's big, like dragon big, not ancient dragon big, like one step down from ancient, adult dragon big, right? And he's also in this one place. He's down below Ank'Haral in this sunken cesspool of his own rage, and it's like he's drowning in his own tears, but there's also this thing called ruidium, which is this magical solution that comes from him, right? So Alexian is the big bad in this. He's the monster so in any normal Dungeons & Dragons adventure, there's a monster to kill at the end. There's the big dragon, there's the giants, and you have to defeat them, right? Well, D&D is on this big kick, and they're like, combat is only part of it, right? And Mercer's done a tremendous job with this. So Alexian in this can be 3 things can happen to Alexian. Alexian can be killed, right? It's totally okay to kill the monster in this book, right? Or Alexian can be unleashed, right? He can be let out from this deep cave that he lives in, and he can be let out, and essentially he can be put into this space where he is unleashed on the world, right? And when he's unleashed on the world, he is So once he is released on the world, he can, he can do a lot of destruction, right? And this is different. The book actually lists that, like, this is one of the outcomes, is the player characters or the rival adventuring party can actually unleash the monster, right? So they find the monster and then they can kill the monster, but the monster is currently imprisoned, right? But he can affect the world in different ways, even from this one trapped position he's in, right? And so the monster can be killed, the monster can be unleashed. This is new. We haven't seen this in a lot of adventures before. I've never seen all three of these, the options that are here. This is new. I've never seen this in any D&D adventure book ever, right? And it's really quite unique. So he can be killed, he can be unleashed, and last, he can be redeemed. Okay, so he can actually, you can like help heal him, and essentially, if you can get him on the couch and give him a good talking session or whatever, however they deal with it. I have to admit, the redeemed is beautiful that it's there, and that the player characters can have 3 things to do: kill it, unleash it, redeem it. But when you read the redeem part, you're like, somebody on the on the Critical Role team just had a bad breakup, and they were with a bad person who they were attracted to, and they just knew they could change him, right? Like, it really does read like kind of like, yeah, like, okay, somebody had a breakup and they're trying to change that person, and it looks like somebody just put their bad breakup material into a Dungeons and Dragons book. But it is not masked well enough, right? It really feels like very personal to one of the writers, in my opinion, right? But I love the direction where this is going, and I love the idea that the players really matter. Is Elixion killed? Is Elixion killed? Which is like, yeah, okay, you guys ran through you ran through the story and you gave the same answer that you would give at any D&D. You guys, we're all going to clap for you, but you really failed. Here's your participation trophy. Unleashed. Woo! That's spicy, right? Okay. So the player characters get to the big bad, and now he's just wrecking Ankaral. Okay, that's pretty cool, right? Or Elixion is redeemed, right? And the thing is, I wish it had been written away where it just didn't feel like a bad breakup story, but like somebody was trying to work through their pain from their last breakup. But it does read like that, right? But I love the direction this is going for Dungeons and Dragons, and if a group chose this, right, this is going to be a unique story for them, right? Every Dungeons and Dragons, player has been like, oh, I killed the big bad. But have you redeemed the big bad? That's new. That's fresh, and I love it, right? It could have been executed a little better. It could have felt a little less person on the couch kind of, thing, but we're getting there. We're evolving, and I'm in love with this Call of the Netherdeep book. I'd really love to hear your thoughts on the Call of the Netherdeep. And I'm curious if you've done this before, where you've had a big bad and you've had multiple states of transition and ending. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.